That's big business. Hit town, but that's big pimpin'. My potential, that's infinite. Pin game insane. Make hits like King Griffin, a 10th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 37,
I believe.
I believe. We all believe. Of the 10th Inning Podcast, as always, I'm Sean. He's Dan. I don't know if that's going to end up being next to him, but what do you have today, Dan? Glass?
This is tempered glass for my iPhone. I have a mouse case. Shout out mouse case sponsor for this week. I wish. But I was in the field. Okay, I accidentally took my phone out to the mound this week for one of the innings. Oh, and I got to tell you, I wasn't thinking about anything because I was zoned in. Sean, sneak preview, had an 11K performance this week. All right, so we'll get into it in King Stats of the Week. I was getting Ooshkin and Dooshkin out there this week. And amidst that, I took my phone out to the mound. I said, I can't have this. I said, can someone catch my phone? Nice guy named Justin said, yes. I chucked my phone, okay, over the fence into the dugout. Terrible throw, okay? Almost went over the other fence and went off the fence, off his hand, off the bench. Shattered my tempered glass is where I'm at, but we have new tempered glass today that I'm going to put on after the app.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
That is wonderful.
But yeah, you get into the league news if you feel I feel like I throw you off course every time. Just a battle for you to start this episode.
No worries at all. Last week we talked about Joe Madden being fired. Well, the story gets even funnier. Joe Madden apparently got a mohawk that day to try and pump the team up and got fired with a mohawk, and the team never see it.
Joe, we got to call you into.
That's also funny and sad. Yeah,
he walks in like that. They probably weren't gonna fire him. He walked in to that meeting like that, and they're like, "Actually, Joe, that was the last straw. Please, you can pack your stuff." Now he's going to a serious meeting. It's just fucking fire red, probably with the mohawk. They're like, "All right, Joe, that's enough."
If I were him and they fired me, I still would go see the team just to show off the mohawk, just so it wasn't totally in vain.
What, do you get it for nothing? You just get a mohawk for nothing. You got to at least fire him one time before you leave.
Absolutely. Yes, that was a funny little story that was this past week, which was cool. A not so funny story, but still a nice story in the same regard. Lorenzo Cain was designated for assignment, but the Milwaukee Brewers waited until it was his 10-year anniversary or 10-year service time in the majors so that he received veteran benefits, which I think was like $7,500 a month for the rest of the season, among other things. So that was nice to see that they waited that day to do it. Unfortunately, he wasn't hitting well. It was like 179, and he had a fairly sizable contract, so I think it was probably the smart move on the Milwaukee Brewers' part. But frankly, no other team is hitting right now. But Lorenzo Cain, all around a good guy, great player, great defender, key part of the 2015 Royals World Series championship team. And that's tough to see. I don't know. It sounded like he was retiring almost without retiring. I don't know if you read any of his quotes or not, but
I haven't read any of his quotes. But I know at the beginning of the year I was kind of high on Lorenzo Cain coming in, having a little bit of a nice vet season. I'll give a random hot take here. I think you will see Lorenzo Cain in one of two avenues within the next couple years, and quite possibly, if I got to make the take spicy enough, at the end of this year, Lorenzo Cain will be with a team on a coaching staff, either for defensive purposes or just to be a great person there, or he will be in a commentary booth somewhere on MLB Network or ESPN or something. This is one of the guys with the best personalities, best smiles, and one of the better baseball minds, I think, out there. I can't imagine some team doesn't jump at the chance of having Lorenzo Cain in their organization or some organization outside of baseball.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of a Curtis Granderson type, ironically enough.
100%.
Working for TBS in the postseason, or Fox. No, TBS. So, yeah, I think those two together would be great.
So I think it'd be too much. I think I wouldn't even be able to handle it.
Too much positivity and greatness all together in one.
But continue, please.
Okay. I don't think I have too much to add on that topic
Of
right
course.
now. Let's see. I literally have here Yankees still hot on my list. And frankly, what else is there to say? They lost today. They've won 9 games prior to that loss. They are just absolutely running away with the division. The best record in baseball. I think 49 wins right now, which is just unfathomable. Every week we talk about how hot they are. Frankly, they have very much the same team they had last year. They're just getting better pitching right now. And Anthony Rizzo is playing like not just a top 10 first baseman right now. Some would say maybe top 5 first baseman in all of baseball.
And you'd imagine I'm calling a timeout on the Anthony Rizzo. I'm not. He's playing very well. I'm calling timeout as the same team as last year. How about we talk about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, okay, and the lack of Gary Sanchez? Can we talk about how the lack of Gary Sanchez, maybe you don't see it in the numbers. Maybe you don't see it, but I'm telling you, it does something for the clubhouse. It does something for the pitching staff. Okay, what's really doing well this year? Yankees pitching. That's what's doing pretty well this year. Okay, and guess what's going on? No Gary behind the plate calling the shots. No Gary behind the plate letting pass balls. No Gary behind the plate giving them agita.
I will say this: every one of his teammates loves Gary Sanchez when they talk about him.
They love him.
So I don't think that's.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. You can't, when you're that stupid, you can't be a bad guy. You know, you just you're stupid.
Friend of the pod, Gary Sanchez,
Friend
joined
of the
Javi
pod.
Baez.
Of course, friend of the pod. But I'm saying, okay, you love me, right? We're best friends.
Yeah.
If you got to the majors off being a great pitcher and they threw me out there a catcher, as much as you love me in the clubhouse guy, are you comfortable throwing to me? Do you have confidence to throw everything you want to throw to me?
I mean, of course I'd have confidence.
Sean, the answer is no. Okay? He might be a great clubhouse guy, but I feel like they know he's not good. Like, he might be fun to be around, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm a Gary Sanchez hater. Everyone knows that. I mean, he's on my fucking wall. Okay? I don't know what to tell you.
Well, and back to Kiner-Falefa. He's a hot topic for Yankee fans. He's polarizing. I have heard fans who love him, and we're going to Gary. It's interesting if someone hates him but has him on his wall.
It was given to me as a gift, as a gag gift, because of how much I hate him.
From Leif, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, actually, I think it was Rob.
Oh, okay. But either way, Yankee fans seem to be pretty split on Kiner-Falefa. I have talked to quite a few Yankee fans, being at the Hall of Fame and all, that love him, and a lot don't like him. They don't like his power, and he just hits singles, which I think is, a team needs guys who gets on base, but I haven't really watched him play much. Apparently his defense has been a bit lackluster this year at shortstop. He was better at third base, but he hasn't been playing because Donaldson's there. But yeah, he seems to be Yankee fans are split on him from what I've seen, which is interesting.
He wasn't on the team last year, so I like him. Put it that way.
Baseball player.
He's a baseball player. That's right.
This next storyline is going to tickle your peach a little bit. O'Neal Cruz is expected to be called up tomorrow, and Riley Green was called up this past week.
That's exciting stuff. Good for Riley Green getting back from injury. Would have made it out the gate. Him and Torque would have made it both out the gate. Torque's been struggling hard, though. Hopefully he'll turn it around soon. At least he's getting experience. I don't think there's a negative in getting experience, as long as it doesn't hinder his confidence. But I'm excited for Riley Green. I mean, he probably, just being inserted into the Tigers lineup, already has probably top 15 speed power combo in the game. Maybe top, just because of the pure speed. Like, not a lot of people with that much speed have as much power potential as he does. So he'll be exciting to watch. A lot of strikeouts over there with Riley Green. That's the only thing I don't like about him.
Yeah. I mean, the Tigers need something to look forward to, something to get their fans going, because it's a tough time over there right now in Detroit. So, also, Ryan Zimmerman's number was retired today this weekend, by the Washington Nationals. Mr. Nash himself, a guy who I feel like isn't talked about enough. He had over 1,800 career hits and over 1,000 RBIs in his career. and was frankly the only good player on the Nationals for a long time when they were bad before they had Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, well before those guys. Got a ring, which was nice to see. Jersey retired, obviously, like I said, and very underrated career. And from what I can tell, all around good guy.
No comment.
Yeah, not a fan.
I'm a fan. I don't have a comment at this time.
Okay, Ryan Zimmerman, friend of the pod, turning into now.
Mm-hmm.
I love him, but I do. I like him.
I actually do like Ryan Zimmerman. I mean, he's one of those guys that was like David Wright to me in that same era where they were filthy at a certain point, and then all of a sudden, crazy drop off. And then if you remember, 2 or 3 years ago, Zimmerman had a resurgence. He had been gone from popular culture for 3-4 years, and he came out and was oh, I'm an all-star again at first base. By the way,
yeah,
this guy was a
2017.
Yeah, this guy was a filthy third baseman at a point. He was the first. Wasn't he the first Nationals first pick? When they started getting all those number one draft picks, they had, all of them in a row. I think it was Zimmerman, and I think Strasburg, then Harper, but they missed on a couple, obviously, as well. But he was the first one that they had, and the first one that panned out. He kind of is, in a sense, the Nationals, at least the new age, that ended up, becoming. When we were younger, they were the worst team you could ever imagine. Obviously, just starting out in the league, all the way to winning a World Series in 2019, I believe, right? 2019.
Yeah.
So God bless Ryan Zimmerman. I'm sorry for the no comment before. I was frankly a little distracted, and then he hit my heartstrings there.
Yeah, he had a very good career, and him and David Wright grew up together, actually, ironically enough, in Virginia. As well as the Upton brothers, BJ/Melvin, and then Justin Upton. I think they might have went to the same high school, actually, all in Virginia area. So a bit of a hotbed there for talent in baseball.
A little bit of it.
Yeah, but I like the comparison of David Wright and Zimmerman because Zimmerman played longer, but they both had injuries really derail their careers at a point.
Yeah.
Ryan Zimmerman, I'm looking at stats right now. Solid player, consistent player, and he was in the league for 16 years. He was a 20-year-old in 2005, his rookie year. I'm pretty sure he got drafted and played, if I'm correctly. So,
really?
Yeah, pretty wild. Pretty wild. And in his, maybe not till right away. He only played 20 games in 2005, but nonetheless, I digress. I'm going to get to some quick stuff here. I know we're taking your time. You remember Mercedes? Tony La Russa's favorite player, signed with the Giants and celebrated by popping champagne on Twitter. Which is hilarious. He's going to win an MVP now. It's confirmed. The Giants just love these guys. Your Mercedes is coming for you.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. And then I just have a little note in here. The American League is very top heavy this year. It's with the Yankees and the Astros. National League, much more balanced. There's going to be a good team that doesn't make the playoffs this year in the wild card. Which is interesting considering they just added an extra wild card. So
yeah. I mean, the National League's more balanced as far as 2 through 8 or whatever. Yeah, it's balanced there for sure. But number one, obviously, it's no balance there. It's the fucking blue wave all day. But God bless. Yeah, everyone other than the Dodgers, they're in perfect balance over there. For sure.
Yeah, Padres are currently in first, but.
We don't need to be in first. We don't even care about
that. No. Mookie Betts, though, cracked rib.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, and he was performing phenomenally. Shout out Mookie Betts, former player of the week. That'll say something about your character.
Yeah, absolutely. With the notes this week, I will admit I am a miserable fantasy baseball player no matter how hard I try. Things just go wrong for me. Used to be injuries. I could blame it on that. Now, Fantrax, the Dynasty League, it hasn't helped that Fernando Tatis, my first pick, the number one pick last year, has not played. Decided to ride a motorcycle, and hurt both of his wrists. They 1-7, and about to go 1-8, almost positive. And then in the Yahoo, just regular fantasy, 1 year, started out I think 3-1. Now I'm about to go to 4-6 and drop down further in the standings. No matter what I try, who I pick up, anything, It sucks. By the way, in the fan tracks, I have Dom Smith. Also have Yohan Moncada, who has been often injured, and same with Eloy Jimenez. Frankly, I just want to cry every time I see it. But let's not get into that. I'm just really bad at fantasy. Really. Dan, take it away with whatever you want to go to next.
Yeah, well, I'll just mention, I hear you. Last year was the worst year of my career in Yahoo. I'm a former 3-time champion of this league. And clearly it didn't go that way last year for me. It's not looking like that this year. Started out, I believe, 1-6, went on a little bit of a run these last 2 weeks to get to 3-6, back in some kind of contention. Looks like I will be losing this week, go to 3-7, and just like that, I'm probably the worst team in the league again on the outside looking in. I was moving over to fan tracks for me, though. We'll be picking up a win this week, moving to 7-3, a little flip-flop. Knocking off the 1 seed this week, which is Matt currently. Been on a pod, actual friend of the pod. He was in the fantasy team episode. He's 7-2. He'll be moving to 7-3 along with me and 4 others. It's talk about a top-heavy league, that Fantrax league. There is 5 people fighting for 4 spots. They all have the same record going into next week, Sean. Everyone is 7-3, and the rest of the league, I believe, is either 3-7 or lower. So it is a clear top 5 right now. I'm just happy to be part of it. But moving on to what you guys care about, obviously, let's get into some stuff that's important, and that would be King stats for the week. Okay.
What's more important than that?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I split it up into the 2 games this week. So I got to be frank with you. Last week, I combined the stats, but I was like, I'll tell you, my co-ed stats ruined my overall average. We did a vice versa. The men's stats were terrible this week. I'm not gonna lie to you, Sean. Not great because I'm not staying hot in either one of them. I'm gonna keep flip flopping. Men's 2 for 6, 2 walks, and a strikeout. I was lefty for the strikeout. I went lefty a couple at bats this game. We did not have our good bats. We were stuck with 1 bat that was dead. Team morale was very low because of that. I didn't care about my at bats. It was hard to get going. I didn't have the regular bat I used. After that scenario, I was so heartbroken. I've purchased a bat. I spent $312 last night on my own bat. It'll be coming in. Haven't named it yet. I'll let you guys know, and I'll maybe unbox it on the podcast. Just so you guys understand how upsetting that performance was for me. On the mound, I did what I could. I went 0-2. We didn't play well with a bad bat, but I went 14 innings pitched, 3 walks, no Ks, but 3 walks over 14 innings. That's less than 2 per game that I try and do, so I'm proud of myself for that performance. I kept up in the game as much as I could. Moving on to co-ed fun. This is where shit got wild. 5 for 7, a triple, a double, 3 stakes, and 5 runs. Okay.
Wow.
We're talking 2-0 on the mound, Sean. Over 10 innings pitched, 11 Ks, 2 walks. I mean, talk about a performance. There was an inning. Okay, I had 2 Ks and a ball hit right back to me. I had about 4 or 5 plays on the mound as well. I want to say I accounted for 40% of the outs made.
Wow.
And I accounted for probably 30% of the runs scored. I had a little Shohei day for myself is what I did, Sean. Glad we rode it to 2 wins. I wish I could do that every week. I wish I could do that every series. But I just want to let the fans out there know that the king is coming. And with an 11 strikeout performance like that, just so you know who's going to be at the top of the leaderboards. Moving on to the picks to click. I want to get something to say, Sean, about my performance. I don't want to cut you off, of course.
No, I was going to say that interesting how the flip-flop, maybe you try and even it out a bit, but the dead and bats, I mean, there's nothing you guys could do about that. And understandably, the morale took a hit. I mean, how could it not? Is there a conspiracy? Like, do you think someone's out to get you guys? Like, what happened to the bats?
Here's what it was. Coach, I believe, slept over at Zeke's, or something with Coach and Zeke, where Coach's baseball, softball equipment got stuck in Zeke's car. Coach had my bat. So this is a whole mix-up. Coach has got the bat I use. Coach and my bat ends up in Zeke's car. Zeke's car ends up in the shop. Zeke doesn't have his car. And there went that.
Okay. All right. Maybe your opponents paid off the shop.
Oh, God. You don't think so? Yeah, well, if they saw what I did last men's game, they would have.
They had scouts. They had scouts there, no doubt.
Let's move on to the picks to click, Sean, because I'm just going to start, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Two of our favorite players, Machado and Harper, are hitting 324 and 322, 6th and 7th, respectively. Well, they were. Which one ends the week with a higher average? And a bonus point, if you could pick who of them will be in the top 5, Sean, I'm happy to report that you said Harper top 5, and I said Machado, and neither. Yours made more sense at the time. Machado finished with 328, Harper at 326. Machado in 6th, Harper in 7th. I hate to tell you, Sean, that's a 2-point swing this way. And here's what I'm going to hate to tell you even more. Because that was the first question, and that's a 2-point swing, that puts me at over 10 points for the season, which does that mean it's a 3-point swing in one question, folks? We have our first 3-point question. Because the answer to the question, Sean, who gets to 10 first on the season when you were at 9 and I was at 7? I put that out there, guys. Put it on my fucking back. And guess what? I'm the first one to 10 this year. That is the most phenomenal run anyone will ever see this entire season. I'll let you get your words in later. 4 of our actual favorite players have lucky number 13. I won't read the rest of the question. You said 5 homers for them combined. I said 7. They went off for 9 this week, Sean. Vladdy had 4 of his own. Devers had 3. And Soto and Peterson had 1 apiece. So we were both wrong there. Milwaukee had lost 8 straight. Atlanta had 110. Who has a better record at the end of the week? You had said the Braves. I said the Brewers. Braves finished at 567. Brewers at 559. So you got a point there. There was an extra bonus point for who were the last 2 wild card spots. You said San Francisco and Atlanta stays the same. And I said Milwaukee and Atlanta. There's a little bit of a discrepancy here. I'll tell you why. St. Louis and Milwaukee are tied for the division lead. So technically one of them is the wild card, but it's not written like that. If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
And the wild card teams right now are San Francisco and Atlanta. One of them would have to technically be a wild card team.
Yeah.
If that's the case, it looks like Atlanta would actually be bumped out, and it would be St. Louis and Atlanta, or Milwaukee and Atlanta, and Milwaukee and San Francisco, I mean. So if that's the case, if we're going off that, then neither of us win. If we're calling St. Louis and Milwaukee both tied for the division lead, like they have it written, you technically win because it's San Francisco and Atlanta. But all those teams would not be able to make it in if the season ended today. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think no one gets anything there.
Okay. So Sean, I mean, God, this is tough to see. You did get a point this week, and I only got the 1. I mean, I only got the 3 from the first question. But this puts the season total. Congratulations on getting to 10. But it's now 12-10, and the tables have turned. I now have a 2-point lead. I mean, explain what just went down. How are you feeling?
I really don't know what just went down. The team has been playing well lately. You get these streaks. I mean, look at baseball. It's been a year of streaks. I mean, the Braves got hot. I'm gonna get hot. I assure you, I'm gonna get hot. I'm not going down without fighting. No. So
we're just gonna hope that this isn't like fantasy for you. Where you're hot out the gate and then all of a sudden just crash and burn.
Yeah, you didn't have to go there. You really didn't.
No.
I think we should move on before you say anything else, and I just get off this podcast right now.
We're gonna go to our hitter highlight this week, which is a former Yankee, Sean, Luke Voit, having a week for himself. Went 12 for 28, hit 428 this week, 8 runs, 6 doubles. 6 doubles. I gotta say that again. 4 homers. That's 10 extra base hits on the week. 11 stakes. His K percentage is at a career high of 33%, which ain't great. and his expected batting average is 229. The real is 245. His BABIP is also at career highs. I say that saying I'd expect slight regression, but also feel that he could stay hot for a while because it's Lukey. If anyone can overperform expected stuff, I'm going to say it's Luke Voit. But he had a great week, and that's what we care about, not about what happens in the future. This isn't bad to watch. This is excited about this week, and Luke Voit had 10 extra base hits this week, hitting over 400. So I do want to shout him out for that. But just for the fans at home, I do want to let them know that, honestly, I might not think this is extraordinarily sustainable. Anything on Luke Voit in his week this week?
Not necessarily this week. I just know he's been struggling with the Padres.
Yeah.
That trade the Yankees made, where we kind of laughed at him, and he's not exactly performed with the Padres. So yeah.
Moving on to another not ex-New Yorker, current New Yorker. We got Taijuan Walker, Sean, the postage file. Went 2-0 this week. 12 innings pitched, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 19 Ks. Had a 9 and 10 K performance this week, which I think is phenomenal. Versus LA and Miami. Lowered his ERA from 3.28 to 2.88. Sean, he's sub 3. His expected ERA, this is going to get a little Luke Voity here, is 3.8, which is his career mark. He's a 3.86 career ERA guy. By the way, I think that's perfectly fine. So he's expected to be at 3.8 this season, but that's not terrible. I'd expect some regression. There's a lot of blue, in the forecast currently in his little profile. But I think he's more or less a slightly sub 4 pitcher that's going to eat innings for you, and I think he's perfect for that Mets staff, especially if they get DeGrom back at a certain point, hopefully. Because they don't need, a million aces, but I think he's a really decent replacement for Stroman in a sense. And he can have dominant stretches too. How do you feel about Taijuan Walker?
I really like him. Obviously what's really hindered his career has been his injuries, and he's been injured last year and this year so far briefly, but he's most likely going to end up on the IL at some point again this year. A lot of talent. You can see why he was a highly touted prospect years ago.
Yeah.
But he eats innings. When he's on, he's very hard to hit. Even when he's off, he'll still give you 5 solid innings, maybe 3 runs. He's not going to blow you away. Good clubhouse guy, well-liked, positive guy, which is important. But when he takes it out, I feel fairly confident we're going to get a solid start out of him. Really, that's how I felt with the whole Mets staff this year, but especially when he goes to the mound.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to talk to you about our second minor leaguer of the week. No, please.
I'd be able to give my hitter and pitcher a highlight of the week.
Sean, I was trying to cut you off. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. My hitter of the week, John Birdie of the Miami Marlins. Probably a name some of you guys may not really be too familiar with because he plays for the Marlins. But this weekend he went, 7 for 20. Only 1 RBI, but he had 7 stolen bases this year. This week.
Yeah.
I love stolen bases. You love stolen bases. We're older school guys. He's more of a gap-to-gap hitter, John Birdie. Underrated player. He can play second base, third base, shortstop. Anywhere you put him, he'll play there. But had a solid week. Only 1 walk, but only 4 Ks,
I like it. He actually was going to be a sneaky pick to click situation this week. He was in consideration because he tied J-Rod for the league lead at 18. He shot up the leaderboard and tied him. They're both at 18. I was going to say who gets the 21st. I decided on some other ones. But Mr. Birdie almost made my my little script as well. So I'm glad he did make somebody's.
7 in a week. 7 stolen bases a week is quite a week.
No, he had a week and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. My pitcher highlight is also a New York pitcher, but on the other side of town, Jameson Taillon.
It's not throwing a Gary. Maybe that's something different.
Yeah. His last start this week was the 18th, which was yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday. He only went 5 2/3 innings pitched, but I think that this may be me making up for not really noticing how good he's been doing this year. or how well he's been doing this year.
Shout
What was that?
shout him out. Go for it, man.
Oh, shout out. Okay, he's currently sitting at a 2.70 ERA. Not too shabby. He went 5 2/3, 4 hits, no runs, no earned runs, or regular runs.
None of them.
Against the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have a very good offense. Very potent. I like that. And it was in Toronto, which you're known to get some runs there. The ball carries a bit. But yeah, he's had a solid year. Another big part of that Yankee team. He had a bit of and I wouldn't say a bad year last year, but a bit of a down year.
Yeah, Gary was catching you.
But yeah, yes, exactly. But Jameson Taillon, my pitcher highlight of the week.
I love it. Now I'm going to jump to my minor leaguer of the. Really, it's not of the week. This is just another guy I like. Didn't have a spectacular week. It's very hard to find weak stats for minor leaguers, especially the way I do it for hitters. No, we don't need to get into it. Another guy that I really like is Adele Amador. Okay, this is a 19-year-old Sean shortstop in the Colorado Rockies organization. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to screen share. I want you guys to see the picture of him. I might not have to say anything else. I might just show you the picture and you guys get it. Any questions?
None.
I mean that literally, that's it. That's all I have on the kid. He's phenomenal. Okay. We'll scroll down. We'll look at the kid together. He's 19. All right. All he's done is hit his whole career. He's only been in 2 seasons, obviously. But I've watched some tape on this guy. I am, again, invested in this guy in baseball cards. I bought 5 or 6 cards of his, Sean. I'm not going to lie to you here. I'm going to be honest on the pod. Worth 10. I paid between 10 and 15. Maybe I paid 20 for one. So I spent about $100 on this guy in the off season. One of his cards the other day, Sean, sold for about $100. So
wow.
All I'm saying is this guy's starting to get known in the stratosphere here. Hitting 301, 402, 458, 8 bombs over the 55 games. So the power's starting to come in a little more. Obviously, he was only 18 last year. The average and on base are pretty much holding the same. He walks a decent amount for the kind of hitter that he is. He strikes out, not a lot. 37 Ks in 55 games for a 19-year-old at A is actually fairly phenomenal, especially with the power starting to develop. He's a pretty smooth fielder as well. I am just a fan of Adele Amador, also a switch hitter. And he looks pretty decent from both sides of the plate. He's not one of those guys that have really crazy, splits on one side of the plate. You could tell which side he's natural at. And again, I'm just going to, one more time, future MLB superstar Adele Amador. Okay. Any questions or any comments on Adele?
I mean, there's nothing left to be said.
No, honestly. There is nothing left to be said. Do you have a player to watch for this week? Because what I'll do is while you're doing that, if you do you?
I don't have one written down, but I'm sure I could come up with something.
Well, I'm going to go give my players to watch. While I do that, you come up with something. And then while you do that, I'm going to find a video of Adele because I showed you guys a video of Jordan Diaz. I got to show you a video of Adele. And then we'll just keep coming back like that. That's how we do it, guys. We fly. We fly by the straps of our pants here. So last week, my hitter to watch was Kepler. He had a fairly pedestrian week this week, but give him one more week, okay? Aaron Ashby was my pitcher to watch. Batters hit Sean 1,000 off of Aaron Ashby's sinker this week, okay? And he threw a good amount of them. They hit 1,000. I don't need to explain to you that is bad. That is not good. However, they hit 100 off of his slider, and he refused to throw his curveball that he was doing so well with at a high percentage again. Let's hope he figures it out. I just want someone to go to the tape and be like, Aaron, see this pitch you're throwing? It ain't working, Aaron. It just ain't working. See these pitches you're throwing? They're all working. Let's throw what's working. 1,000, Sean. You figure You figure. I'm not even gonna get into what you would figure. I'm just saying, even through the course of a game, you would fucking realize, man, this ain't working, Chief. Because not once has it worked today. Not one time. They not hitting 990. They were hitting 1,000.
Not one swing and miss.
No. Well, I mean, he might have had a swing and miss, but he never exited an at bat while throwing it and then not getting the hit. Aaron Ashby, everyone. Now I put my pitcher to wash. Give him one more week to take a look at the stats. Going into this week, we got Austin Meadows. Okay, a guy that I really, really enjoyed. I was high on him coming up. Had a great rookie year. Right, burst onto the scene. Looked like he was going to be phenomenal. The next season, struggled a lot with the average, swing and miss a lot. And then last year, I had him for a little bit as a bounce back candidate. Traded him to Matt mid-season in Yahoo, and then he went off and hit about what seemed to be 40 homers in 3 weeks. Completely ruined my fantasy season, propelled him to a playoff push. But he's having an odd year this year. 250 average, 310 expected batting average. This is a guy who people wrote off for batting average after his rookie year. He burst out with a 288 basically expected and was hitting around there. And then as expected 2 years ago, 186, bottom 3% of the league, 240 last year, 316 this season. And he's not performing. But his BABIP is in line with his career norms, which is a little bit confusing for me because you would imagine it'd be low. He's got, how many homers he's got this season, Sean? Take a guess.
4?
None.
Really?
Zippo.
Wow.
Not a singular bomb. Interesting. Because he was a guy low average pop, probably. High homer. Might have switched it up. 89 expected waiting on base, 96 expected batting average, 94th percentile in K percentage, Sean. He has cut his strikeout percentage from a high 2 years ago of 32.9 to 11.6% this year. He has completely remodeled his approach at the plate, is what it's seeming like. This is a guy 27 homers last year, 234 average. 315 on base. He's close to 350 on base right now. Should be hitting close to 290. 0 homers. This is like out of this world change. This is Joey Votto the opposite way from last year, where he said, I'm going to do the reverse Joey Votto. I'm going to get on base. I'm going to hit for a high average. And the results haven't came yet, but clearly it's supposed to be working. But he is abandoning seemingly the long ball, which was a specialty for him, which I love. Maybe the Rays got in there was like, hey, everyone can fucking hit the long ball. But this is a high strikeout guy, Sean. Yeah. 11.6% K rate, 10.9% walk rate. Austin Meadows is a different player this year. So basically my batter to watch is not for him to start hitting bombs. I mean, he is a 77 percentile expected slugging. He's not hitting the ball hard on average. His average exit velo is 34th. It's not great. He's not hitting the ball extraordinarily hard. However, I think you're going to see this guy creep closer to 250. I think he puts 20 points on his fucking average over this week, or at least the next 2 weeks. I think he's going to be closer to 275 than a blink of the eye. Austin Meadows, I'm very interested to see how the rest of the season pans out.
Yeah, I was one of the guys they traded. The Pirates traded for Chris Archer.
Yeah.
Austin Meadows, Tyler Glass. Now, what a terrible trade that was.
And Garrett Cole.
Well, he traded.
Oh, no, Cole's different. Never mind.
But they still, I think it was the same year.
Yeah. Glasnow and Meadows was that trade. That's such a bad trade, and so quickly a bad trade too. They were like ready to come up to the big leagues. Yeah. They weren't like low-level prospects.
The Pirates weren't even that good that year. They were like just on the outside of the wild card.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found a player to watch, a hitter to watch. I don't have a pitcher, but I have a hitter. This one is very close to home. Brandon Nimmo, he has been a player throughout his career who's productive when he plays, but he frankly gets injured a lot. He has only played over 100 games once in his now 6-year career. This is his 7th year, his 7-year career. Only more than 100 games once. When he gets on the field, he gets on base, hits for a decent average, around 260, 270. Has turned into an outstanding defender out there in center field. Some would say potentially Gold Glove for this year, which I don't know I agree with, but I've seen some people saying that. But he had a bit of a wrist issue maybe a little under a month ago. Didn't go on the IL, but missed about 3 games. Since coming back, has not really hit well. His average was actually in the 280s. Now it's down to 261. On base percentage still at 359, which is not too shabby at all. He still gets his walks, still gets hit by pitches. Guy loves to not get out of the way of balls when they're coming towards him. You got to love it. Doesn't like to steal bases. He has very good speed, just does not like to steal. Not really sure
Buxton.
why. Because he definitely. What was that?
Like Buxton.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. But I'm looking for him to rebound. He's a better hitter than what he's shown recently. And he's looked a little frustrated at the plate, which doesn't happen very often for him. He's pretty positive, usually a pretty positive guy. So I think he's going to turn it around. It's also a contract year, and he's going to want to get paid. Scott Boras is his agent, believe it or not. So, yeah, I think he's going to turn it around. He has to turn around if he wants to get a nice contract. But he's a very valuable player for sure.
Sean, that's beautiful. On that note, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. And we're going to watch Adele Amador. Okay, take one deep a little bit here. How do you feel he looks in the box? To me, he gives me a little bit of Frankie, a little bit of young Frankie, and a little bit of Hanley from the right side, young Hanley as well.
Yeah. To me, I'm going to go way back. I actually mentioned him earlier, B.J. Upton.
Okay, a little bit of B.J. Upton vibes.
I could be way off, but from what I remember, B.J. Upton's batting stance, I think B.J. was a switch hitter, I believe.
Yeah.
Which he also is as well. But he's kind of he looks like him in the box a little bit. What a field.
Woo! I like the little stutter step.
A little hop there.
A little hop.
Oh!
Sean, I like him.
Got the flair.
I like him a little bit, Sean. I like the flair. I do. Here he is from the left side.
Oh, he's wearing some interesting clothes.
Yeah, he's from the DR originally. So this is him from the left side, obviously. I'll skip in a couple swings, get him from the right side. Let's see. Here he is from the right side.
He's a twig in this video.
What do you say?
He's a twig in this video.
Yeah, I don't know when this is from. I'll see after this. How do you feel about his righty versus lefty swing?
I think his righty swing looks more natural.
I agree. I think he has more power on his left side, but it looks like his right side looks a little bit more natural.
And it's interesting, the guy throwing him BP is a righty.
That's Adele Amador for you, though. Big fan of him. Listen, if he makes it to the majors in a couple of years and performs, you're right here first.
Absolutely.
My pitcher to watch for the week, I'm really not going to get into it too much. All I'm going to say is Lou Trevino, reliever. I think he's gotten shelled a couple times. Look for him to improve. His ERA is like 3.5 runs higher than it should be right now. Decent pitcher. He should be around a 3 something. I think his ERA was somewhere wild, Sean. I'll figure it out for you here. But okay. Yeah, all I'm going to say is Lou Trevino, God bless his soul, is basically what I'm trying to say to you, Sean. I think he's getting a little bit screwed. His 8.66, 1-5 on the season. Okay. His K percentage is the highest it's ever been. He raised his K percentage 10% this year. It was 21.6 last year, 31.5 this year for Lou Trevino. Expected ERA of 3.24, actual ERA of 8.66. Jesus Christ. 31.5% on the K percentage. 10% K percent gain in 1 year, Sean, when your whole career has been around the same, is a little bit interesting. Now I'm starting to dig into Lou Trevino while on the pod, because I'm like, what is going on here? That it would have gone up by 10%. That's not a small amount of percent, Sean.
Not at all.
He doesn't look like he's changed his arsenal that much. But God bless. We're not even going to get into it here. Lou Trevino, feel better, buddy.
Love it.
Yeah. Do you have a hot take for this week at all?
O'Neal Cruz is going to hit 500 or above.
I like that hot take. My hot take from last week was that Judge would not hit a homer all week, and the Yankees wouldn't win a game. I'll say this: the Yankees lost today, thank God, because if they didn't, the Yankees would not have lost the game this week. I can only attribute that to my hot take. They went 5-1. They swept the Rays, won 2 out of 3 versus the Blue Jays. Judge, I will say, hit 1 homer. He's at 25. I said he wouldn't get to 25. He's at 24 at the start of the week. 1 homer in 7 games or 7 days, Sean. Probably the slowest pace he's been on all year. So I'm going to call that a half win for me, for him to only have hit 1 homer this week. Only 1 more than I said he would.
That's true.
Anyway, moving on. This week, Verlander comes into New York later this weekend, either Friday or Saturday. And there's a good shot I go to see him pitch with my friend Zeke. You guys all know, friend of the pod, Zeke. He'll be there to watch Verlander do his thing. Biggest Verlander fan on the planet. My hot take is Verlander gives up 7 earned runs, raising his ERA from 2.3 to over 3, while Zeke is there to watch. It's more of a take of the simulation, especially if Zeke's there. I think it just ruins his day, and that's what happens. If I go, maybe he throws a no-hitter though. It ruins my day. But Verlander has something special go on in either direction in New York this weekend. That's my hot. Maybe it's not that hot considering it's, whatever.
Fair enough. I like it.
Moving on, Sean. I have our picks to click for this week. Are you ready?
I am ready.
2 players have reached the 20 homer mark. Mike Trout and the aforementioned Aaron Judge. 7 more players are within 2 homers, meaning 18. I understand if you didn't understand that at first. We're both terrible at math. It took me a while as well. How many 20 homer seasons will we have by the end of the week? Again, 7 more have 18 or more. There's a bunch of 17 as well. How many players do we have at 20? 2 are already at 20, so 2 is the minimum answer.
I'd say 4.
You're gonna say 4. I'm gonna quickly look, and I'll read them out as I see who's atop there. Alonso is 19. Buxton is 19. Jordan is 18. Austin Riley has 18. Anthony Rizzo has 18. Kyle Schwarber has 18. Christian Walker, player to watch from last week or 2 weeks ago, has 18. Betts has 17, but clearly he's not going to do it. Guerrero has 17 as well, which is interesting. I don't think he gets 3 this week after 4 last week. I'm going to say Schwarber does it. 2 homer week. I think Rizzo doesn't. I can't think that he does. I don't like Austin Riley. I'm going to say he doesn't. Alvarez, I think, does. Buxton, I think he gets 1. Alonso gets 1. I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say there's 6 guys.
Okay.
You're going 4.
Yeah.
That's probably the more conservative. Well, it's definitely more conservative. Probably the better answer. Every week I like your answers better, Sean. I don't know what that says about me.
But yet you're winning.
4 pitchers remain under 2 for ERA going into this week. How many pitchers will be left under that mark at the end of next week? I will again get you the names of the pitchers. They are Joe Musgrove at 1.59, Sandy Alcantara at 1.72, or Alcantara. Again, I don't know. McClanahan, Mr. Shane, 1.84, and Mr. Nasty, Nesta Cortez at 1.94. Manoah is also at 2 if you think he jumps back under. Everyone else is 2.25 or above. I think it'd be difficult to lose that much in 1 week, probably. Although Verlander's at 2.3, if you think he does the phenomenal upside.
After he throws no hitter, he'll drop down, yeah. I'm going to go with 5.
So you think everyone stays and Manoah goes under?
I do.
I like
that. Ain't no conservative answer.
I like that idea. I'm gonna say 2. How do you like that? I'll go the opposite on you.
All right.
I'll go with the opposite on you. I don't know how I feel about that. Sean goes.
Frankly, I don't know about mine either.
I go 2. Hey, if we don't get any points this week, what does it matter? The Yankees and Mets are the only teams to eclipse 40 wins in the Eastern divisions. But the Red Sox, Rays, and Phillies have 36 wins, while the Braves and Blue Jays have 38. How many Eastern Division teams will be in the 40-win club by the end of this week? I think Braves and Blue Jays definitely do.
Rays and Blue. So how many do the Rays have?
The Rays, Red Sox, and Phillies all have 36. Braves and Blue Jays have 38.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely do it. Those two. I would say
3. I'm going to say 5, because including the Yankees and Mets, I'm going to say 5. I'm going to say one of the 36 teams does it, and both of the 38 teams do, basically.
I'm going to say 4.
Sean says 4. I say 5. Okay. And last one, the bonus one, because we spoke about it before the pod. How many home runs does O'Neal Cruz hit this week? 0 is obviously an applicable answer. I was going to say, does he hit 1? But honestly, I'm going to say he hits 2 homers this week.
I'm going 1.
You're going 1. You think he gets 1? Because he gets 1. Everyone says, yes, does he get a homer? But how many? I say he hits 2. Shawnee says he hits 1. All right, Shawnee.
All right.
That's all I have for him for this one. But, guys, do you have anything for him?
I'm good. I think I'm all talked out.
Watch out this week for a little midweek episode, okay, where we go over the all-star ballots, possibly. What do you think about that?
Very nice.
Alejandro Kirk, okay? We'll preview. Will be the starting catcher on my all-star team unless something goes awry in the next 15 minutes. Also, if we're wearing the same clothes, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll change. I'll change for him. I'll take the sweatshirt off, put on a different hat. You guys will never know the difference. There'll be new background.
Very nice.
Yeah, of course. But that's all I got for him, Sean. I'm going to put this glass on my phone, drink the last of this water, and God bless. We'll see you on the 38th.
Have a great night.